Hey everybody, balance patch came early, who knew? So I'm going to go through it real quick and give sort of my opinion, and I guess let's check it out together. All right, first up we got Water Beast Monk, Chandra, Crushing Blow, Skill 1, Stun Chance 30% goes to 15%. So they're trying to rein in Chandra's Cigar. I'm not sure this is gonna do it. It does make it like a little less annoying to be, you probably won't get chain CC'd quite as much, but I'm not sure if this will actually do very much. This feels like a little bit of a symbolic nerf, mostly because the slow is actually probably more important to the overall like sort of CC combo. But I mean, any amount of change, honestly, his win rate wasn't that crazy high, so this being the change kind of makes sense. Like they're not trying to kill Chandra, so here he is. When Dokaibi Lord Byung-Chul, full of spirit, passive, amount of damage taken decreases when your HP condition is reduced by up to 50%, instead goes to 30%. So basically makes him a little bit less tanky, mostly for arena defense and siege, that kind of thing. So I actually don't know if this is like a huge change. It will mean you can actually cleave him a little bit easier. I'm not sure if this makes him less tanky enough that you would actually want to try that consistently though. Maybe it just means you have to build him tankier. I'm not sure. But anyway, this isn't really an RTA change, so I don't care too much. Fire Ifrit decreases damage dealt from enemies with no harmful effects from 20 to 30. Okay, so it makes Fire Ifrit a little bit tankier. Honestly, I think this is mostly so that you can build him higher DPS. But kind of a cool change, I guess. I'm not sure. I still feel like there's better, I guess not better Oblivion options, but I'm not sure this is gonna like encourage people to use them more, but you never know. 10%, I guess it's fine. I don't know that I care too much about this. Oracle Dark, Gianna, Critical Error, effect added, stuns all enemies for one turn. So basically she already stunned them, but only if they had a buff. Now she's going to stun them. So she guaranteed stun them if they didn't have a buff, or sorry, if they did have a buff, and that was like a swap effect or a substitution. So basically if she landed the act check to stun, she would stun them no matter what. Now she has a second act check for stunning them separate from the strip chance. So basically she works exactly the same way she did before, but now she can also stun them even if they didn't have buffs, but it's a separate act check, I'm guessing, which is like really good. So basically, and in fact, I believe she might be one of the most consistent stuns in the game if they don't have immunity, because now she has an act check to strip, which will stun them, and then even if she doesn't land that act check, she then has a second act check to stun them. So actually she gets two. So she's actually going to be like a 96+% stun chance against things with buffs that don't have will or immunity. So actually this is pretty big. Gianna, I don't want to say is the patch winner, but this is going to bring her back to be relevant in a serious way, because now you can actually, because the problem is that you could basically, before she had to be tuned as your fastest stripper, now she can be tuned as obviously not your fastest stripper, because she wasn't good if she didn't go first. Now she's fantastic even if she doesn't go first. So yeah, this is kind of big. I mean, Hey Gang obviously still gonna have something to say about this, but Gianna is quite good now. So congratulations, you Gianna owners, who survived to this point. Okay, Water Monkey King removes one beneficial effect when it lands as a crit hit. Now it does it without the crit. So basically you just don't have to build him on 100% crit rate. In fact, you can just build him on additional damage and make him super tanky and he'll still work. So cool. Water Monkey King, pretty nice. I don't know if this will make it so people will use him over that weren't already using him, but it does make him way easier to build, and additional damage builds are way easier to rune up, and he can be way tankier because you don't have to itemize for crit rate. So yeah, Water Monkey King might actually, you know, this I think I might even give him a try. Water Monkey King's gonna be kind of sick now. All right, Dark Monkey King. He's been buffed a few times, but never really managed to catch back on. First hit decreases all enemies' defense for 2 turns. Second hit stuns them for 1 turn with 75% chance. Now decreases all enemies' defense for 2 turns, stuns them for 1 turn with a 7% chance, but it's on both hits. So now he also is a very consistent stunner now. 75% chance. Actually, I don't remember what his skill up is. It might get a couple extra. Does he get skill up? He actually is also one of the most consistent stunners in the game now too. Okay, so Dark Monkey went from being inconsistent stunner to now most consistent stunner in the game. Okay, cool. Congratulations, Dark Monkey owners. That's sick. You're gonna see a lot of like Wunsa Dark Monkey King garbage coming up real soon. Something that capitalizes on the high base. Or Laura Dark Monkey King. There's gonna be some gross stuff with this. Actually, Dark Monkey. This is gonna be gross. This is a huge buff. Congrats, Dark Monkey King owners. Okay, Water M Bison / Slayer. Borgnine. When all enemies are attacked, blah, 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 decreases incoming damage in proportion to destroyed HP, increases chance of receiving a glancing hit. Now, when allies attack the enemy with destroyed HP, increases the damage they deal in proportion to the enemy's destroyed HP. So now, instead of being a, like stops you from dying, it's now a everyone deals more damage to it. So it's basically like a win more, except that like if you destroy their HP even a little bit, it means that he's going to be able to destroy it even faster. So this might be really cool. This might even combo pretty well with the Fire Dokaibi Lord. I don't know if this is going to make anyone still want to use it, but at least, the defensiveness never caught on, so maybe the offensiveness will. Cool. I mean, it's a little bit of a change. Maybe there might be something cracked going on in there that I don't see, but I don't think anyone's really clamoring for this exactly. Although the Dorothy people, like, does she destroy before or after she hits? I'm not exactly sure, but maybe there's like a Dorothy combo in here. We got the Borgnine Dorothy cleave becoming meta. Sick. All right, Water Hacker Kid 0 day decreases attack bar of all enemies except selected enemy target by 20% each. He doesn't do a debuff, so now he counters Hey Gang sort of. And not counters it, but at least doesn't. He makes it so Hey Gang doesn't. Basically Hey Gang is neutral now. So if you're tuned correctly, it resets one of them and then neutrals out Hey Gang's attack bar with this. So Kid is a pseudo counter Hey Gang now. I mean, he already kind of was, but now he's an even better pseudo counter Hey Gang. So cool. I mean, we'll see. Maybe he'll become meta with that. I don't think so, but it's pretty cool. I'm definitely I've been trying him the last few days, so maybe we'll get some more working on it. Okay, Water Light Hacker. This is a non-hit cracking ability. Absorbs attack bar by 30%, goes to 35%. So now it just means he cycles a little bit faster. Cool. It's a buff. I think they're probably going to touch these again at some point, but I mean, it's still better. Not a huge change. Light Hacker, the one with the speed lead, decreases the attack speed of all enemies for 2 turns. So slow is often a busted status effect. So let's see. Hacker, what skill is that? Oh, say he grants immunity for 2 turns and attacks all enemies who grant suppression for 1 turn. So that's on that duality of hacker skill. So now he slows. He doesn't push attack bar, so it's not really that scary. But I mean, a 2-turn slow is still kind of awesome, especially on a 33 lead. I think you'll see more people use him also coming up because the slow is again like the best debuff in the game. So hopefully this gets people to use him a little bit more. Like maybe people who are lucky enough to have him will use him over like where you would just pick an Oliver as your CC cleave helper of choice, you know. All right, Wind Pure Vanilla Cookie removes 1 harmful, goes to 2 harmful. So now Wind Pure Vanilla Cookie is just a literally better Raccoony, although slower. Like the being slower part is actually a big deal, but now she at least cleanses two harmful effects. The degenerates who play that kind of comp are going to be using her a lot. We'll see that. You're going to see her a lot more, I think, from that. That's actually kind of big. Devil Maiden Dark, max cooldown decreased. And then when Devil Maiden appears, she gains a turn instantly. So basically what that means is that because she like turns into this demon, whenever she dies and comes back, she's now going to just immediately get to go. I don't think she's I'm not sure how effective she is overall as a unit. So I'm not sure that taking that extra turn does anything more than literally just making it so you cycle back into the transformation again faster. So, I mean, it's still cool. It's something extra, and the decrease in cooltime is also kind of nice, but I've literally never seen her once in any content used. So, yeah, hopefully somebody who has her can figure out a way to make her busted. So let's see it, guys. Anyone who has her, get her out there. Bayix, skill 1, damage proportionate attack power turns into damage proportionate to attack power and max HP. Long time coming. They're all HP scalers. Now they're even more of an HP scaler, including on skill 1. This is mostly like a fire Bayek and a wind Bayek kind of a thing, because you don't have to build them on attack to actually do stuff. Wind Bayek especially, this is a big deal, because he had no real offense, but so this is nice. Not enough to break them probably, but it's still like way better. This is exactly like what they did with Beast Monks as an example. Wind Desert Queen, delayed promise, grants harmful effect removal block for 1 turn to the selected enemy target. So basically she does harmful effect removal block to 1 unit, and it's also the one who's pushed ATV back all the way. I don't know, this is like a counter Juno thing, so she's usable in like slightly more comps. I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know that that's that crazy, because usually they just control you with attack bar, and this isn't like a big deal. I mean, maybe it stops like a Riley proc from fixing the 1 unit you really don't want to deal with or something like that, but okay, cool. I mean, I also don't think this will make her like just pop back in a big way other than the people who are already using her. All right, Light Weapon Master. His passive, he used to just deal damage that ignores death resistance if they're 30 or lower. Now he deals damage that ignores death resistance with no required conditions. So basically he will, like, this is actually a huge deal because it makes him a better counter Julianne. So what would happen is that Julianne, you would actually hit him, and then like he'd be like over the amount of HP needed to cause that condition, and then you wouldn't kill him consistently. So it was like roulette on if you actually made it work. Now he deals 20% increased damage if the HP is 30% or below. So now if they are lower, he hits them even harder. So this is actually kind of a big deal. This is exactly what he probably needed. Like, to be able to just kill Julianne, like a big meta unit, is kind of a big deal. And in addition, it's going to counter other stuff like Nanas or stuff of that nature. So this is kind of a big deal. Hopefully we see him more. I think we will, actually, because Julianne is pretty big in the meta for an LD5. Light Phoenix increases attack bar of allies by 15% after the attack. So this is sort of a cleave addition. I mean, any extra increased attack bar is nice. The big thing is that it makes him slightly mitigate the fact that Hegang almost counters him completely. Pretty cool. Hopefully, I haven't seen many people use him, even in cleaves. So this might be more for arena offense than RTA, but definitely you're going to see people try him soon. Dark Phoenix, enemy defeated under turn cannot revive. Now his passive skill does not activate. And boss excluded. So clearly this was intended for RTA or like arena. I don't know how hard he hits in such a way that, I mean, the ignoring passives basically means that it counters the self current turn revive stuff like Nanas but except it doesn't counter a Nana unless you're killing the Nana, because it's only the one that you attacked doesn't activate. So it also means you can crit stuff even harder, like Camilla's and things of that nature. Kind of cool. Hopefully that's relevant. I'm not actually sure if that's a buff or a nerf. It feels like it's a buff, except that now it doesn't counter Nana. So, and also things can just revive it the next turn. Okay, cool. Siri. Okay, so Series and the Magic Order Sword Swinger, Water, Wind, Light. Damage deals that ignores def up to 80, now goes to 100%. So this basically just means that they can full ignore defense. I think it's only 100 attack speed to full ignore, so you only have to be a certain amount faster, but then they reduce the damage to match the skill, which basically just means that she probably does more damage overall, but because full ignoring is so strong, they had to nerf her damage a little bit. So Cool. I'll try Wind Siri and Water Siri probably with this. Water Siri might actually be kind of sick in a bruiser fight now, because like a swift Water Siri, like just ignoring armor all the time is kind of nice. Because you can build around such high crit damage too. Okay, so light magic order sword swinger, damage decreased by 13%, part of the passive. So just a nerf to light Siri, is that weird? Is that strange? I feel like that's strange. Like, why would you decrease her damage? She wasn't getting used anyway. Is there maybe this is a siege thing? Like, was there like a super overpowered siege meta that I'm not aware of? But I don't see why you would nerf. This seems weird to me. Mostly because she doesn't get used. So like, why would you nerf some? Anyway, whatever. Someone in the comments, if anyone knows why this happened. Like, is there a siege thing? I don't know. Fire Yennefer decreases enemy's attack bar by 15% when you attack the enemy on your turn. So this is her passive, Magic Resonance. So this is the thing that steals and spreads. Now it also decreases enemy's attack bar by 15%. So that's kind of cool. It's just a little bit of a bonus. It's not that crazy. Just a bonus. I don't know. Like, she wasn't particularly meta anyway, but I guess now she does a little bit more work on stuff like Junos, perhaps, because you do a little bit of ATB control. But 15% is not that huge. So if it were an absorb, that would be better. Oh, speaking of the absorb, water, fire, light, Yennefer, there's skill 2, which was a oblivion and absorb. Now is a stuns the enemy for 1 turn with a 30% chance, which with skill ups goes to a 50% chance. So it's a 100% oblivion, 50% stun. I mean, I think a stun's better than a 30% absorb for a single unit. And also, Yennefer, because of her passive, will still absorb 15%. So, and it's a guaranteed 15%. So now she will potentially oblivion, stun, absorb 15%, spread all in 1 turn, I think is how that works. Actually, so Fire Yennefer might be kind of cool now. Like, even, you know, because the stun's nice. Especially if that oblivion, I believe the oblivion goes on before the stun, but anyway, it doesn't matter too much, but it's cool. Maybe worth a revisit on Fire Yennefer. Wind Dark Yennefer. Max cooldown went from 4 turns to 5 turns for the magic shield barrier. So this was a removes 1 harmful and creates a shield that's 20% HP. Now is remove 1 harmful. So now she doesn't cleanse, but she does give immunity. So now she's a 20% shield, 2-turn immunity, but gets nerfed cooldown by 1 turn. So it's a 4 turns after skill ups. Now I don't think that's particularly crazy. A cleanse is pretty good, but I mean, immunity is better than a cleanse, which is why they nerfed her cooldown. But I feel like they didn't have to nerf her cooldown. I mean, I guess a 2-turn immunity on a 3-turn cooldown would be kind of insane though. So I guess they had to give her that immunity. I honestly think it would have been better just to leave the cleanse, give her like a 1-turn immunity and a shield. Because I feel like the cleanse is actually pretty nice, but whatever. I mean, it's cool. The dark Yennefer people are going to be who gets the most benefit from it. So maybe this is a much bigger deal for them. And I guess 2-turn immunity is better than 1, obviously, but like I don't know if it's worth the cooldown time. Gingerbrave removes. Gingerbrave removes 1 beneficial effect. Now is steal 1 beneficial effect. Huh. That's kind of cool. So now he is kind of like he's even more of a pseudo Sekhmet in that he will pick up a will, or he'll steal the immunity and not be quite as vulnerable in the next turn. Okay, nice. Cool Gingerbrave buff. He hasn't really managed to catch relevance in the same way that some of the other hard turn 1 counter units did. So maybe this will make it slightly easier, because stealing that immunity is kind of a big deal for those types of units. All right, Sky Surfer, Water Dark. Stun chance 30 goes to 50. And in addition, he has skill ups, which I think he was already 50 before. So this actually is like 70 now. Yeah, so he now has a 70% stun chance on the first turn, which makes him So I would never ban Miles previously, because it's like if they want to flip a coin, it's weighted my way because of accuracy checks. Now it's actually like in their favor. So now if if you're flipping that coin, it's actually they will win most of the time on that stun chance on the first turn. So this is actually kind of a big deal. So Miles kind of went away, honestly, a decent bit, but now we're going to see him a lot, I think, because you know what, especially with that win cookie buff, like that sort of passive cycling team that uses the Raccoonies and just the damage that stays alive. Like, he's still one of the most consistent damage dealers with like no setup, right? So yeah, I think Miles will probably be back. I mean, he didn't really go away, but he kind of went away because of Chandra Cigar. Now he's going to be back. So look out for Miles here in a couple days. All right, Ryu Striker win, Kashmir, triple combo. The cooldown goes from 5 turns to 4 turns. See, I love Kashmir buffs. I am a big fan of Kashmir buffs. So triple combo, this does have a cooldown. So now it's going to be a 3-turn cooldown time after skill ups. Instead of removes all beneficials, it's now steals all beneficials, which means that you can pick up their immunity, but in certain cases, like against hard like turtle teams that bring like invincibilities and stuff, this is actually kind of a huge deal. But I don't think this is that crazy. The cooldown time, I think, is actually more important than the stealing all beneficials, because what I think you're actually going to see is people might start bringing him as a kind of like a hole poking unit more so than an actual snipe unit. Like he's just better overall, but in addition, now you can bring him on like a slightly tankier build into like turtle triple, basically like the triple support teams, like people who bring like a Riley Pontos, Miles, or like, you know, that sort of a team. I think you'll actually potentially see like a tankier Ryu / Kashmir brought in that situation, where he just starts popping holes in people, kind of like how people use Vanessa, but even tankier, or more counter turn too. It's cool. I mean, I also think this deserves another revisit. Dark Ryu, PPK combo. The 4th stun hits for 1 turn, stuns for 1 turn. Now it stuns for 1 turn and decreases defense for 1 turn. So he had an issue before where he didn't consistently defense break. So he did a defense break replacement on the AE. So now he will at least defense break on the 1 unit you're targeting. For sure, or not for sure, because like it's not, you know, you still have the accuracy check, but like you're guaranteed he's going to try to defense break at least 1 thing. So that's actually kind of a big deal. Mostly for people who run stuff like Dark Ryu and Light Ryu, where you need to kill at least 1 unit. But basically, he's going to get to defense break at least 1 thing. Now, 5th hit replaces 1 beneficial effect, removes beneficial effects if the has it, then grants defense. What is defense? Okay. Basically, now they changed his AE defense break. Wait. What is that? Okay, so I don't know if this means it grants defense buff to your team, or if this means it puts decreased defense on them. If it's... Okay, this is because they did this defense typo. I don't know if this means that AE defense breaks or if it gives your team defense buff or you defense buff. I actually don't know what this means. Point being though is you will get at least 1 consistent defense break now on the unit you targeted, and it might mean he AE defense breaks without having to do the replacement effect. I think. Because that would make the most sense, because he doesn't scale on defense, so I don't know why he would give your whole team defense buff for 1 turn, because that's silly. But if it might do that too. Okay, so either you get defense buffed, or he AE defense breaks them. If they translated this better in another language, someone let me know in the comments, please. I'd really appreciate it. All right, Hypno Meow. Bubbly Bubble, so skill 1 removes 1 beneficial effect, so now they strip on skill 1. Kind of cool, so it means you can sack them with a sleep on like through immunity. Maybe that makes them useful. I don't know if it does. Cool though. I mean, any skill 1 stripper. Ganymede got nerfed for less, so well, for the same. Fire Robo increases attack power by 50%, now goes to 25%, but decreases his S2, like his spin, by 1 turn when they get an additional turn. So now they had to reduce that attack bar gain because otherwise he'd be like even sillier. Basically, it means you're gonna get spun. You know, we're gonna be spun around. Cool. I don't know if this will make him as good as the Wind or Dark one just yet, but against certain types of teams, kind of nice because you're gonna basically be consistently stripping, consistently despairing, all that kind of stuff. Pretty cool. Fire Dryad, they removed if the enemy doesn't have any beneficials, prevent the enemy from gaining beneficials. Okay. Increases duration of beneficial effects granted on allies by 1 turn. So now she increases the duration of buffs. I'm not sure. This might be like a PvE thing. So she pseudo strips them. So she's kind of an anti-Heigang. And then she also increases your buff duration. So maybe if you have her go first, you get 2 turn immunity. I don't know. She's like a stripper, but gives you, yeah. I don't think anyone's going to use her anyway. Dark, Hyenas, Mandrake. If the enemy target has a beneficial effect or harmful effect, when you attack, deals additional damage by 10% of the enemy target's HP. Is that true damage? If it's true damage, it's kind of cool. Yeah, it must be true damage. So she just like lops a little bit of HP off of them, which just makes her kind of like a, she was already a good anti-Heigang, but now she's also like softens them up a little bit more. You know, you can have her on a pure like support build and she at least does a little bit of damage. So cool. I mean, again, she wasn't getting used heavily, even though she did counter Heigang, or at least strip countered Heigang. So cool buff. Not too, okay, so overall, patch, not that crazy. Honestly, big winner, Dark, so Gianna and Dark Monkey, both huge buffs. Congratulations to anyone who owns those. Water Hacker's looking kind of good. Pure Vanilla's looking pretty good. Light Weapon Master looking pretty good. And mostly these are like counter meta units. Although the Gianna Dark Monkey is just a buff. The Siri Ignore Defense getting better. We might see, like, as I said, the Swift build series, especially Water Siri, that might be her time, because now she actually potentially can do some really serious damage while being an awesome bruiser. Tiny nerf to Chandra. I don't think it's going to change his usage. Since it's such a small nerf, maybe it lowers his win rate enough that people are like, it's weird how nerfing works in this game, because most of the time, like, it's not that it nerfs it like such that it's like it's like a bad unit. It nerfs it enough that people are like, oh, this isn't as easy to win with, so I don't even want to use it at all. So like a very minor win rate nerf can actually lower his usage by a lot. And since the entire Chandra Velajewel cigar thing is kind of predicated on Chandra, maybe a tiny win rate nerf here will like make that whole team like just start fall off a little bit, but I don't think so. I think it's still got legs, so that's going to be around, but maybe they didn't want to kill it anyway. And then other big buffs, nothing really. I mean, that's mostly it. Honestly, not too disappointed in this patch, obviously like they weren't going to do a huge overarching set of changes, so yeah, pretty good buffs. I mean, the Gianna buff and Dark Monkey buff, I think the Dark Monkey, like, because people were already running like Wunsa Zabala, right? So like you're gonna see people who have like 3 or 4 plus like really fast Swift sets. You're gonna see these really disgusting sort of like Wunsa, Dark Monkey, Zabala, Robo kind of comps that they just use. And then they basically just change out the Dark Monkey for speed lead whenever they actually have to race people, right? Because like, yeah, because just imagine a tuning where you're like on Wunsa, Zabala, Dark Monkey in that order. And all you do is that, and then if they're not on double speed lead, double high base also, where you don't have to bring a second speed lead, you're going to see people like Wunsa strip. And if you ban Wunsa, they Zabala into Robo, into a pushback, strip into Dark Monkey armor break into whatever their other unit is. Like there's that speed team actually just got a lot stronger, and Dark Monkey is going to be in a lot of places, mostly because like you can also just build him violent. I mean, even worst case, he's just 118 speed violent unit with one of the best stuns and armor breaks in the game. So Dark Monkey King, people, let's see them. They're going to be out. All right, anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and I really appreciate it. And hopefully you all enjoy the balance patch. See ya.